So I'm leaving work, and guess what happens? Micah Parsons gets traded. So Jerry really was pissed. This wasn't about, you're talking about the Cowboys. That's all that matters. Spell my name right. That this is all about the handshake agreement that Jerry had that he thought was binding or something that Micah was reneging on because he asked his agent to be involved. This really was an impasse. This was something that was irreconcilable. There had to be something else going on, right? Because why would you trade away Micah Parsons at the beginning of the season? And then why would you trade him? They didn't even trade him out of the conference. They traded him in conference. And they traded him in conference to a rival. The last time the Cowboys made the playoffs, they got bounced by the Packers. Bounced by the Packers. And I guess that would be the Cowboys' point, is that Micah didn't affect very much in that game. And they sent him to the Packers, who are coming to play the Dallas Cowboys week 4. So I'm wondering, who's doing more cartwheels, Packers fans or NBC Sports executives? That Sunday Night Football game, Micah versus the Cowboys. Holy crap. I mean, the Cowboys getting a nice haul, I'm sure. Apparently, Micah getting a full-on reset of the market of damn near $50 million a year. So I guess, it's on. Packers fans, you got to be fired up. You got yourself a premier pass rusher with Rashawn Gary and the rest of that defense to ball up and roll right at the rest of the NFC North, starting with Jared Goff, by the way, in week 1. And the Cowboys, I mean, Matt Eberflus, the new defensive coordinator there, sorry, Matt, and Brian Schottenheimer, new HC there, sorry that Mike is not there. And I guess for the future, it definitely helps cap-wise and it helps draft pick-wise, but for this year-wise, it'll be tough to handle. But what a turn of events that the Dallas Cowboys trade away Micah Parsons to the Packers. And Jerry makes his point. We got a handshake agreement, that's it. So have your head in a swivel if he's coming to talk to you in the future. And we will see if it works out. We will see how this draft compensation works out down the road. But for 2025, big check mark for the Green Bay Packers. What an aggressive, big-time move this is. And a stunner, a trade of this magnitude the Thursday before Labor Day weekend. Boom. Talk more about it on the Rich Eisen Show on Friday.
Jerry Jones, but the market has shifted, and it has shifted in a major, major way. And not only that, but again, the disrespect that Micah Parsons had felt doesn't go away. You can't erase that. So when he issues that trade request, Dak Prescott didn't do that during his contract negotiations. CeeDee Lamb didn't do that. This was always different. And I don't know if you want to call it stubbornness on one or both sides, if you want to call it whatever you want to say. This started to become a reality that Micah Parsons would no longer be with the Dallas Cowboys over the last probably 48 hours. And so now we have this major deal where the Green Bay Packers, they have a history of getting big-time pass rushers, right? You go back to Ron Wolf when he was able to secure the services of Reggie White at the dawn of free agency in the 90s. You go back to Ted Thompson when, after Julius Peppers had put together an all-decades playing career with the Carolina Panthers and Chicago Bears, he gets Peppers to go to Green Bay as a free agent. And now Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the Packers, gets Micah Parsons in a major deal that includes 2 first-round picks and the largest contract that has ever gone out to any non-quarterback in NFL history. Not just that, but the largest contract that's gone out to who's not like one of a dozen people in the world ever. This is as big as it gets for the NFL.
Guys, I'm with Amanda Guerra. She does have a question here with this big news with Micah Parsons leaving Dallas.
Yeah, I specifically want to ask because JJ and Pete, I mean, they're so vocal. And guys, I got to know about the fallout for Jerry Jones and all of this, I mean, immediately people were thinking, okay, Dallas has now lost Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons in the same year. We already saw people showing up, at Cowboys practice with a sign. Now the fan was escorted out that said fire the GM. We saw that fallout when it came to the Mavs. I mean, and they're telling us right now in our Slack channel for people watching this live on YouTube that Jerry Jones slander is dominating the chat right now. Pete, I'll start with you. I mean, from the fan perspective, specifically, what is going to be the fallout for Jerry Jones with all of this?
Nothing. He owns the football team. There's no fallout. I mean, unless somebody takes the team.
But from the fans' perspective, I mean, do you think we're going to start seeing more and more fans showing up and being pissed off at Jerry Jones at the games? I mean, if they're already showing up at practice with signs saying fire the GM, you got to think it's about to start trickling over more.
Yeah, and you know what? They can have a complete, take the whole stadium over and have a protest. It's not going to matter, in large part because he owns the team. Until he sells the team, none of this changes. And you know what? Jerry doesn't really care either. He made the deal, he made the decision, and now he's got to live with it. Here's what will make those fans shut up. Much like in Dallas with the Mavericks, when they, they're going to be pretty darn good next year. You know what'll make them shut up? If Dak Prescott goes out and beats the Eagles next Thursday, if Dak Prescott throws for 4,800 yards and 40 touchdowns and they're winning the division, that'll make those fans shut up. But for right now, Jerry Jones doesn't care what those fans say. The only thing that matters to Jerry Jones is trying to win, and this is not a decision, by the way, that I think is actually moving in that direction and making money. And he does a great job of making money, and now he's got to do a better job of getting this team to win.
When they're just
and
a
I would
documentary.
say, Go ahead,
JJ.
Right. Well, and I would also say, and I completely agree with what Pete just said. First of all, let's take the last thing Pete said first. The Dallas Cowboys, when they face the Philadelphia Eagles next week, they are a worse team next week without Micah Parsons than if they had Micah Parsons, right? Kenny Clark is a very nice player. He is not Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a guy, he is in that TJ Watt, he is in that Myles Garrett. In some respects, he's in that echelon where when you have the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, well, that Monday, you're already game planning around Micah Parsons. You're not doing that for a Kenny Clark. Now, eventually, when you can ultimately use those 2 first-round picks, and the Green Bay Packers hope that they're sending picks number 31 or 32 to the Dallas Cowboys over the next couple of years, that can effectively equal a Micah Parsons. You didn't pay him $47 million per year, and you got these players. That's going to take some time. I will also say that Jerry Jones has a team that just came out with a valuation. I think Forbes had it around $13 billion. If this team were to ever go to sale, and they won't, but if they were, it would sell for more than that, right? It is almost like the Mona Lisa of sports. You can't really put a price on it because it will never sell. And so I don't think that the fan fallout is going to matter. And I think Pete really hit the nail on the head that ultimately, if Dak Prescott has another MVP-like season, like he had a couple of years ago when he was in the top 3 of MVP voting, if the Dallas Cowboys can finally break through and make it back to the NFC Conference title game for the first time in a quarter century, then folks will say, wow, that was a crazy summer with Micah. Wonder what could have been, but it's okay, we're back there. But they just are not as good, and I don't think their odds will be as good of getting back there without Micah Parsons.
Yeah, JJ, didn't mean to get you in there, but to cover you there, I just was saying there was a documentary about the good old days, and maybe they'll have a new one given all the Micah Parsons drama that we've seen. Pete, there's one thing, I don't know if you tackled it, what JJ was sort of elaborating in terms of how incrementally the records were happening at 40 and change, in 40 and 41, that is. What does it tell you that Micah Parsons got 47, which is well clear of the previous record?
Well, it tells you that he's an elite pass rusher in the prime of his career. You look at some of them other pass rushers, those guys are 30, 31. They're not 26. 26 is the target age. I remember that being told to me a long time ago covering this league. Whenever you want to go get a player, get a free agent, look at age 26. That's when he's at his prime. The other guy